Hello everyone, welcome to the 101% podcast where we talk about mindset, motivation, discipline, how to always push yourself, how to become a beast and how to defeat struggle. This podcast will help you to get a better life, that's 101% for sure. I'm your host Joachim and together with me is the co-host and my sister Annika. Welcome to this podcast. Okay, we are back again and in today's episode Annika is going to invite us into her mindset and share some of the most important lessons she has had in how to control her mind, how the mind is a make or break deal for her, and how you can work on your mind to be the most powerful tools in your life. How has the day been today, Annika?
It's been good, thank you. I just woke up and had breakfast with the entire family that I'm staying with now. And my sister-in-law is at the hospital now to give birth, so we're all so excited and the atmosphere in the house is really lovely. So I'm very happy today. I'm praying for her that everything shall go as well as possible, and I'm super excited to become an aunt again to this little boy that's coming today.
So amazing to hear. Hope the birth will go very good and it will be a healthy baby that's come out.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy about this, and my husband has a big family, so this will be a nephew. So he already has 9 nephews and 1 niece, so this will be number 10, and then of course I have my 2 from you and my brother already, so we're a big family already.
That sounds great. So in maybe 10 more years it will be 101 nephews or not?
Maybe. They are a football team already, so
that's good.
They're growing.
I think many of them will come in the UFC rosters, yeah?
I think so too. This is a pack of champions.
So great to hear.
How about you? How is your day?
Yeah, it's been good so far. A lot of energy. I have prepared myself for the next episode we're gonna record after this one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, feel good. Did sleep well last night and a lot of energy today. So I'm excited for this episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So today's we're gonna talk about inside Annika's mind. What's actually going on inside your Annika's mind? So I'm so excited to hear about that. I know something, but many things I don't know. So I think the listener gonna be excited for this one.
I hope so. I haven't explained to many people what's actually going on inside of here, but sometimes when I've been talking to my friends, I explain things and it seems like the frequency of my thoughts are going very fast and it's so many things to think about at the same time. And I have explained earlier in this podcast that sometimes it feels like a Super Mario song where you only hear all the time, like there's so much going on. And then he jumps and it's like, ding, ding, like there's so much noise going on. And that's how my mind has been for as long as I can remember. Always I have been having very like thoughtful thoughts about worries. How is that person feeling now? And I remember that when I was young, my teacher at school, she was really great and we had a lot of good conversations. This was when I was going from 8th grade to 10th grade, and she explained to me that it seemed like I had a very thin filter around me. She explained it this way, that every human being has a filter, almost like a coffee filter. When you brew your coffee, you have this paper cup outside of it. And if it's very thin, you take in the emotions from other people. But if it's thick, you are a bit more robust maybe in how to cope with other people's emotions or how much you focus about it. So that's how she and another person explained it to me, that I have a very thin filter. It's easy to take in all the impressions from the world around me. If I see someone that's sad, even on the bus, I don't know them, I'll be looking at them and think to myself, why is this person sad? He looks a bit down. Like, I'll always take in so many impressions of other people. And it is extremely tiring because I can get so sad because some other people are sad. And that's how I've been for many years. I adapt other people's feelings. And if I watch the news, I'll get very sad because of this, what's going on in the world. So throughout the years, I've just had to become a bit more robust. I've had to make my filter a bit thicker, sometimes that has meant to just make more distance between me and some situations or some people. And sometimes it has been what I'm thinking, what I'm telling myself.
And I know this is an amazing tool if you want to be a very good social worker. So that's great with this one, because you're so good to see how people feel and you see it all the time. So then you became very good with people. But the coins with this one is that it drains you a lot, yeah. As you say, you became very tired and you use a lot of energy only when you see other people is tired. I think it's important, as you told me before, that you have to learn to handle it in the right way and make you more robust. And how do you do that to make you more robust and to avoid that it get drain you too much?
I think it is a very good question. I think that I have been burned sometimes on this, and then I've learned from my mistakes. And my mother has been telling me for so many years that the reason they say on an airplane that you need to take your own mask on first before you help others is the same lesson that goes for everything in life. If I take in all the impressions and I help everyone and I prioritize other people more than myself, I'll just get burned out and then I have nothing more to give. And I have experienced that several times, unfortunately. And luckily, that has taught me that I cannot keep on doing that. I have to be more robust. And then that is also a thing with the 101% concept that you have told me many times that you need to slow down, Annika. You will get burned out if you do this and this. And I've told you, but I want to go 101%. I'll go 101%. If not, I won't be here. What is the point in working if I'm not doing my best? So that is actually something that I'll have to figure out in my time ahead. Where should I work and how much do I have to give? Because it came to an end. I was not able to give 101% on my MMA career at the same time as I was giving 101% in my social worker career. So it came to an end for both areas, and I was burned out for a long time and then had to build myself back up again when I went to Thailand. And so that's something that I have to figure out in my future. How can I still give 101% because it's important to me, but in what areas? Where shall I choose to put them? So I was very fortunate to have some sponsors helping me to go to Thailand, aka housed me and sponsored me. So I was able to live there for a full year, only focusing about my MMA career. And that was a game changer for me, that I didn't have to work at the same time, because then I was 101%. And I got so far within those months. And it has made me think a lot about, if I was only 101% in my MMA career the last years, and not at the same time, if I hadn't been 101% in my social work career, and I was also taking a bachelor's degrees and specialities, educations, and so it's just, for me, I've been 101% in so many areas that it has gotten too much. But then I haven't gotten the results I wanted, especially in the MMA. I haven't gotten as far as I wanted. So then I had to take a step back and just analyze, okay, what's important for me? This is now or never. Now I'll give it my all to the MMA, and then I'll figure things out as I go. So I'm still in that area of figuring things out. I'm not quite sure how 2025 is going to be with prioritizations and stuff. So I'm working a lot inside of my mind now to find out what is important for me. How can I be robust in my life and focus about the things that is important to me? Because if you always have energy drained in this direction and this direction and this direction, it can be just a little bit here and a little bit here and a lot there, but all of a sudden it is empty if you don't fill that energy back in. So now I'm very restricted with my energy. I do a lot of things that charge my batteries, that makes me happy. And that is also a part of being robust, because then when I take care of myself, I put on my mask, I give myself oxygen so that I can help others. That way it's easier to cope with my feelings, but also to give the best to the people that are around me. So I think that's the answer to my question. I have learned a lot from my mistakes, and also I see that when you give and give and give and give and become empty, it's not beneficial for anyone. So I have to be more strict. I have to take care of myself. And then I have the prioritization list. Who is most important to me? What areas are most important to me? Because it's not time for everyone, unfortunately.
And maybe someone think that Annika, this girl, she have figured out everything already. And she had figured out a lot, but it's still many things you're working on and try to figure out in your life.
Definitely. That is so true. And I feel that there are so many areas in my life that are going so much better than ever before. I'm more happy. I'm more at peace with myself. I'm more satisfied about how I live my life. And then comes a time when something tangles up in my mind and I feel like I'm going 10 steps backwards again. And then I'll be very frustrated and I'll sit down and ask myself, in all frustration, why am I going backwards? I am working on myself and this. But I am human. All humans are in this process. We go forward and something kicks us back. And then we have to walk steady again, hopefully a bit faster to catch up on where we were, because we know the destination, we know where we want to be. And I think this is the way of life. It's a rocky road, there will be a lot of stumbles and ups and downs, and that's also why I just try to eliminate the things that's not good for me anymore, because it eats me so much. Like, it can really ruin my day and my emotions and my happiness. I'll be super enthusiastic about something, and then all of these things also will be affected by the things that is difficult. So that's also what I mean when I say that my mind is a make or break. If I am my own best friend and I try to think positive and be kind to myself and say, okay, it's fine. You didn't manage to do that. Okay, it's fine. I managed to do this and this. When I plan my day tomorrow, this is the most important. And when I have this prioritization list, I take care of myself. This is the thing that's most important. That's number 1. And then comes 2 and 3. And then if you didn't have time for the number 7 on the list, okay, you did very well in the 6 first points. So it's only this and this much time in a day, So I think you have to be kind to yourself and prioritize your own happiness, because that's what it's all about. So that was just what I was going to wrap up about this point, that it is a make or break. It can break me and take me 10 steps back, or it can make me and take me further along the road and make me more happy. And then I just have to be very restricted about who is going to interfere with my energy, what is making me go forward and what is making me go back. I have to be super aware of all of these things, because then my mind will make me go further instead of break me and bring me many, many steps backwards.
Great to hear that you have been very good on that, and that you just prioritize the things which is important for you, and so you not get affected so much, and you have become very good on that. So I'm so happy for that. And I remember when you was young, you was around 15 years old, and you was already work as a social worker on your class. No, but so many people have problem and they come to you, and later at the night time people call you and you have to try to help everyone. And you was so tired. You have headache, you hurt your neck. When you walk, you was tired because you was so burnout, because as you told, you took the pain to everyone in your class or in your school that's have a difficulty. And I remember I told you when you was 15 years old, I told you, you have to stop this one. You have to think about yourself first and take care of yourself. Then you can help other, but you cannot help other first. And you do like this with the hand. No, I always gotta help everyone first because they are the most important. And I said, no, you have to take care of yourself. No, I never gonna do that because everyone is more important than me.
Yeah.
So you was very stubborn, but you would like to do it in a good way. And you're so young at that time. You didn't know what was the most important, but it was out of your goodness. You would help everyone, but you did it so much that you became burnout. Yeah.
Definitely. And I remember we've had so many conversations like that where you have been very stubborn about your point and I have been stubborn because I knew best. And then, of course, I realized that I didn't and I had to work on those things because as you say, you were a lot older and you had much life experience and you understood these things, and I didn't. I grew up to always be a people pleaser and always thought about other people before myself. And things were just super hard. It became the fatigue that I've been talking about. I had so much pain and aches in my body, and I would cry so often. And for a long time, I could cry for hours. And I just felt super fragile because I didn't feel like myself. This just broke me down to the point where, who was I? So I had to build myself up again. And it came to a point, especially in my youth, when I was like, I'd say 14 to 17, like that. I was working a lot on my mind to build myself back up and prioritize in a different way. And I actually have a story that I want to tell you guys, because that just explains how I was thinking, and I am ashamed of this story, but I'm gonna share it with you.
Okay, so good. And I start to get excited.
Yes, I think you're gonna get a bit upset as well, but let's go.
Most likely.
So I'll take you back to the time when I was in Colorado. I was a high school student in the United States for 1 year. And my very first day at school, we had this, I don't know, I'd say seminar where we just learned about this and this and this. So we learned about fire drills. If it's fire, you'll go here and there. And then we learned about school shooting drill. This is what happens if a school shooter comes in. We do this lockdown, and then we do this and this. And I was sitting there and thinking to myself, what is this? Is it so common that we have to drill it on the first day of school? And before I went to the United States, my father would watch Criminal Minds with me all the time. And he would say, this is America, this is USA, this is your neighbor, you be careful, you know. And I was in this kind of bubble. I was very scared actually for these kind of things. And on the first day of school, I remember I called my mom. I went to the library and called my mother and almost started to cry, because I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. What if this happens? And so only a couple of days after, it was so strict. You could not open the doors on the back of the school. You could only go in the main entrance in the front of the school. And I was in the hall in my locker getting my books. The school bell rings. So it's time for class. And then someone is knocking on the door in the back of the school and they're waving to me. So we make eye contact. And I think to myself, don't do it. Don't open that door, because you know this is super strict. This is a prevention of a school shooter, because the police were in the front door, main entrance, and the police was working there every day, school resource officers. So it was a security thing. And I was in the back of the school getting eye contact with these two young boys that were like making a lot of fun of this. They thought it was super exciting. And I just had a feeling in all of my body. I kind of froze and I was like, don't do it. But I was a people's pleaser. So I was like, what are they going to think about me if I don't open that door and they can see me, and I'll just do it. So I take like one step very slowly because I didn't want to, but my body just kind of did it as a robot. So I go over there and I open that door and my heart almost stops beating because I was so afraid. And this bodily feeling, I feel it now, just taking you back to this moment, like it's awful. And I open this door and I turn around and they're in the back behind me. And I was so scared. And then this teacher comes and she yells at me and she was so angry. Luckily, this went all right. But if those two boys had different intentions, I could have been the first victim and I could have been the one that opened the door for them to enter. And it was a school of 2,000 students. So this is something that I've thought a lot about. Why did I open that door? Who was I going to please? Two students that didn't make their way to the main entrance when they knew the school bell was going to ring. It's not my problem. If they come too late for class, that's on them. So now I think about this in a whole other way. But back then, 16-year-old me was very naive, very careful, way too humble for my own good, you know. So, but that is also something that MMA has helped me with, because I remember the first times I was in training, I would feel sorry if I shot a takedown. I was like, oh, sorry, someone fell on their back. Or when you punched and you hit clean, I was like, oh, sorry. So this is embarrassing to think about now, because what did I do in that MMA room then? But that's so good to see the contrast. Now I'm a whole other fighter. Now I enter that ring to make damage. It is kill or be killed. I want to make as much damage as possible, and I'll go and visualize that knockout all the time. And that's what has been very fun about Muay Thai. It's a very raw sport. You have so many knockout opportunities throughout the fight. You are a lot closer than in MMA usually. It's a very quickly, rough, energetic sport. So now I'm happy that I have evolved a lot from this, and the qualifications and the values that are within me now is much better for me as a person, because when you are that much of a people's pleaser, you are really making yourself less, and people can go over your boundaries. So that's something that MMA has taught me. The self-respect, the discipline for myself goes very closely with self-love. Why do I train? Why do I fight? Why can I hit someone that's in the ring that wants to hit me? How can I go for a knockout when I know her family is ringside? All of these things, it is a bit brutal, but this sport has helped me a lot in life as well. How to cope with these kind of difficulties in life.
So if you want to be tougher, start to fight.
Yes, I think so. I think everyone should train martial arts, and I don't think everyone should fight, because not everyone is ready for it. It demands a special kind of mindset. I've seen people being knocked out bad and they were not ready to fight, and it's awful to experience that. So I think not everyone should fight, but everyone should be able to fight. Everyone should train to be able to defend themselves and to learn the qualifications of the sport. Martial arts and mixed martial arts, where you have everything, it is so fascinating, and the discipline you learn and everything. And I read a quote the other day that said, your children shouldn't fight only to not be bullied, but they should also fight to not be the bully. And that is so true, because what you learn, the ego, to be humble, to have respect, all of these things, you learn it so well through martial arts.
It's a great training. So everyone should think about.
Definitely. And I think this journey through my mind the last few years has gone from an extreme Super Mario song with so high frequencies and chaos and so many worries and sorrows of others. And then it came to the breaking point where I just really hit the wall for many years. And then I had to build myself back up again. In the last episode, we talked a lot about enjoying the little things in life. And what we talk about there is mainly what has helped me through those hard times, to enjoy the little things in life, to be grounded, to be here and now, present and mindful, and create those moments where you go for a walk and you focus about the important things. Because what happens then is that the Super Mario song is muted. I'm by the ocean. I can sit there and watch the waves come in, or I can walk in the forest. When it rains, it's awesome. There's no excuses to not go outside for a walk and be in nature, because that will make you closer to nature, which is a great force, and it will make you closer to your own thoughts. That's when the prioritization list is easiest to point out. When you sit in a nice atmosphere by a fireplace or by the ocean or looking at the stars, that's when you realize, what is important for me? What do I need to do tomorrow? Maybe I should call my friend. It's a long time since I talked to her. Maybe I should go visit my neighbor, because that's when you start realizing those important things.
So much great valuable information, good tips and good advice. So absolutely something to consider. So keep coming back and you will get more of this all the time in this podcast, because this is what all this podcast is about, to keep learning, educate, share our experience that have helped us. So many great tips, Annika.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And we just want to share everything we have on our hearts. We want to share. We have been through a lot. We have stumbled and fell many times and stood back up, and we still stumble and fall. I called my brother yesterday to rant about something, and then it's very good to talk to one of my best friends and my brother and accountability partner. Sometimes we have business talks and sometimes we have brother and sister talks. And then I told him about the stumble and fall, that something had happened and I'm carrying around all of these thoughts. And then you enlighten me with what's important to focus about. And these real friendships and relationships is so important, to take care of the ones that's closest to us and to prioritize that. Who is most important? Who are you going to spend time with? What are you going to do? And to also think about, who are you? What is your identity? What do you need to do to fulfill that identity? Because I think depression and anxiety and stress and worries often come when there is a gap between who you are, who you want to be, and what you're doing every day, what you're spending your time on. Because when there is a gap occurs in your mind.
Absolutely. Many things to learn.
Many, and I still have a lot to learn. But what I do a lot these days is to try to think black and white on things. I try to go 101% in everything that's important for me. And I try to think black and white, because when I think gray about things, when it's a bit mixed and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it gets a chaos inside my mind. And inside my chest, I'll be very stressed and I'll have so much pain, body aches. My body will feel extremely fragile and I'll have a lot of migraines and neck pain and just carry around a lot of bodily aches, because in the gray zone, there is no answer, I feel like. So for me, a game changer has been to try to think black and white on things. I'll do this because it feels right to me. And if something doesn't feel right, or if I feel like I'm compromised or not treated well or this and this, I try to just escape that. Because why go in a gray zone all through your life and be a little bit happy, a little bit sad, a little bit happy, and back and forth like this, because it's extremely exhausting. And is it really gonna get you anywhere? Then I feel like when I was living like that, I went 2 steps in this direction and 2 steps in this direction, and maybe 1 and 2, and so it's all just a circle, a dance. So now I try to be black and white. And I saw a video of Andrew Tate talking about the same thing, and this was many years ago. Of course, he's far ahead of me in personal development, far ahead of me. So he's a person that I learn from. I'll watch his interviews and podcasts, and he has a lot of good lessons to teach me. And he said that I'm just do my own thing. If you don't like it, the hatred is inside of you. You need to go look in the mirror and find out why the hatred comes. But I do what is right for me, and I'm unapologetic about it. And I think that's awesome, because he is himself. He does what's right for him. He goes his own way. And why should he explain and defend and use so much time to try to bring everyone along? Because everyone is not gonna follow. Everyone is not gonna understand or want to come along on his journey. And my mother sent me a great quote yesterday that said that you won't be good enough for everybody, but you will always be the best for the ones who deserves you. And I think that are words to live by. I will stop focusing about always explaining and always defending and always trying to bring everyone along, because you do you. Some people will fall off, some people will follow, but as long as you do you, you chase that happiness. You create your own happiness. You are responsible for your own happiness. So be your own best friend. Chase that happiness, do what's right for you, have a very clear vision of your values, what's important to you, your prioritizations. Because when you know your identity and you work every day to fulfill it, to make decisions that's according with that, I think that is the recipe of happiness.
Absolutely. And we got that quote from our mother yesterday, yeah. And every December, we in our family used to, like a calendar, yeah. So every day, one of us in the family have to find some motivational quote or a nice song or some nice and motivation on TED or video that hit our heart, yeah. So every day we try to find something, one of us, and we send, and we can write some nice word. And then next day is the next one and next one. And that we do every day from the 1st to 24th December. And it's very great because you get a lot of good and nice thing, yeah, and you appreciate more the small things. So that's a great thing to do. So I would absolutely recommend everyone to do. You can do it in December, or you can do it what month you want, yeah? Just change to try to make each other happy.
Yes, that is so true. And we have done it in December. Maybe that is something we should follow up with at a different part of time, because it's just extremely motivating and sentimental and emotional and nice and inspiring. So it's just very good things that comes out of this.
Yeah, it's make me happy, and I'm excited every day to open the calendar and see what's come today.
Definitely. And I think a lot about that as well, that it's important to have a motivating circle. People that either motivates you, inspire you, or support you. It's so important to have good people around you that have these qualities and wish the best for you. They wish you to be motivated and succeed, or they wish to support you so you can succeed. This is so important. And also to talk about real things, to sit around a table where you talk about real topics, not people or drama or things that doesn't really matter, but real things. And me and my brothers, Joachim and our other brother Patrick, we send a lot of things to each other on Instagram. Whenever one of us sees something, a motivational video or a quote or a inspiring something, we send it. And it's important to have these people close to you that you can share these things with, create a community. And the other day, someone sent us in the podcast something very motivating, and we were super happy about it, because this is something that we want to create, this community, to create people we can share for together and motivate together.
Absolutely.
And I think my final words is that you should think about how you can work on your own mind so it becomes the tool to make you instead of breaking you. What do you need? We're all different. We have different needs. What do you need in a relationship? What do you need from your friends? What do you need in your inner dialogue? Do you need to be hard on yourself and push you to the limit? Or do you need a little bit more easier conversation with yourself and more nice this and this? Analyze what you need, what's beneficial for you. And oftentimes I feel like it's very beneficial to think about, if I was to die next week, what would I do this week? And then many things fall away because it's not that important anymore. And for me, it is important to think in that kind of perspective, because we are here on borrowed time. I don't know if I'm going to die next week or if I get 80 more years. I have no idea. But at the day of my death, if I was laying in my deathbed, I think my biggest regret would be if I wasn't my own best friend. Why shall you not be your own best friend? Because you're inside your own mind all the time. Friends around you and people around you and environments around you, colleagues and bosses, and everyone comes and goes, but you are in your own mind all the time for as long as you are alive. So make it the best place to be. Make your own mind the best place to be.
So many great words. And I think we have to wrap it up here because it was a perfect end. If you like this episode and feel that it gave you a lot of value, it have been great if you could share this episode with someone. And if you would like to donate a small amount to help us grow the show, it have been great. The donation link is on our webpage, the 101%podcast.com, and you also find a link down in every show note of the episode. Today's episode was recorded on December 18. Next episode, we will take a look inside Joachim's crazy mind, where I will show you what's going on in my mind and how it works.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram on this podcast account, the 101% podcast. If you like this episode, make sure to share this podcast episode with a friend and review the show on Apple Podcast. Thank you to all the audience for listening. We appreciate you all a lot. Hope that you will come back and listen to our next episode. Until next time, take care and give it your best.